For the second book in a row, there's an ending you did not see coming. We did book 1, which is a time travel book, and we will talk about that again. Book 2 stays in Scotland. There's no time travel. Book 3 has the best time travel ending you have ever read. This is a unique ending. It's one you wish for every single time you read a time travel book. This is the ending you want. This one. Check out my video for this book. I go ballistic. I'm so excited. This was just an awesome, absolutely awesome ending. And you will not see this in any other book. I haven't seen one yet. And don't forget to check out my If Then in September on the time travel books. Because by that point, I will have read all of these books. So you see people do recommendations. Well, I'm gonna list my top 10, and then you can go watch the videos if you want more detail on each individual book. So today we did Kiss of the Highlander, and it too has a unique sort of twist at the end, and there's also a tad bit of a cliffhanger, sort of, kind of. So we have Gwen. She is an orphan. Everybody's dead. She decides to go for a bus tour in Scotland. She's on vacation. She's in Scotland. She goes for a bus tour, and gets friendly with some senior citizens, a senior citizen bus tour. And oh, by the way, this is the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina Carrias-Tiene. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, no fancy smanchy stuff going on here. And if you could please, pretty please, hit the like and subscribe, I would so appreciate it. I have, as of this recording, I have over 1,790 plus videos out there. If you could just go like them all, that would be awesome. So anyways, so she decides she needs a little air. They're off the bus, they're checking into the hotel. She wants to go for a walk, see the scenery. She goes for a walk. She falls down a hole into a cave, a very, very deep cave. And she lands on this guy. And it turns out that he had been asleep for well over 500 years. And she wakes him up. And they have several chapters of him, thinking, she's the crazy one, but technically it's him. And she has to convince him that he's in the 21st century and that, they have to get a car and they have to get clothing for him and they have to have food and blah, 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 blah. So they go through all those chapters and you got to get through all that angst. And he finally comes to the realization that he his descendants have been dead for well over 500 years. And when they finally eventually get to the castle, it and the surrounding areas are in ruins, absolute ruins. And he's stressing about his brother. His brother had gone off to get his betrothed. I don't know why the brother went to get the betrothed and not him. But the brother went to get his betrothed. On the way back, they entered in an engagement. The brother lost and died. And apparently, that made him the sole heir. And his father never remarried or anything. So that when he disappeared, and we'll get to that in a second, his father everything just the father died and everything, everybody else died, and the whole place went to ruins. So, he go to the castle, and there's several chapters past, and he's got to get to the stones, like a little bit of Outlander, the stones. And he's trying to calculate. He wants to go back. He knows the sort of date when all this stuff happened. And he wants to get back after this thing happened to him. Apparently, one of the priestesses put a spell on him and put him to sleep. They didn't kill him, they just put him to sleep. So he wants to get there after they put him to sleep. Because apparently with your time paradox stuff, the two people can't exist. You can't exist with yourself at the same time. One of you will be disintegrated and eliminated. There can only be one of you at one time. We've done this in the Back to the Future pictures and all that kind of stuff. So he figures out, and he performs the spell, but not before him and Gwen get really, really close and romantic and have intercourse and the whole 9 yards and fall in love. And he takes her to the stones and he performs the ceremony. And he misjudges the time. He calculates wrong, and he gets there before everything happened. And since he gets there before everything happened, him, the 20th century, 21st century him, no longer exists. But Gwen goes through. So now she has to convince the 1500 him to trust her and to believe her story, because they think she's bonkers. So, I found you in a cave. You were sleeping. Funny symbols were painted on your chest. Somehow my falling on you woke you. You were confused. You had no idea where you were, and you helped me get out of the cave. You told me the strangest story I'd ever heard. You claimed you were from the 16th century, that someone abducted and enchanted you, and you slept for nearly 5 centuries. You said the last thing you recalled was that someone had sent you a message to go to some glen near a loch if you wished to know who killed your brother. You said you went, but someone had drugged you, and you started getting very tired. Enchanted? He shook his head. The lass had an imagination that could compete with the finest bard, but she made her mistake. He didn't have a dead brother. He only had Dagus, who was alive and hale. However, like I said, she got there too early. The brother is still alive. You told me that if I accompanied you to Drochaid, Drochaid, you would prove to me that you were telling the truth. We went to the stones and your castle. This castle was ruined. You took me into the circle. She deliberately omitted the intense passion they shared therein, not wishing to alienate him further. And you sent me here to your castle in your century. Before I sent you back using the stones in some pagan fashion, he said, I took your maidenhead, huh? I must confess you've chosen a most unique way to try to trap a man to a wedding. Choose one about whom strange rumors abound. Claim he took your virginity in the future, thus he can never argue conclusively. For the last time, I'm not trying to marry you. Betrothed, it doesn't plan that doesn't please you. Careful lest you further betray yourself. But that doesn't make sense. You told me you weren't. I am. Much was agreed upon last Yuletide. Anya Elliot is due to arrive within the fortnight for our wedding. Elliot. Dagus is going to fetch her and bring her here for the wedding. Gwen turned back to him to conceal the shock and the pain she knew must be etched all over the face. Betrothed, her soulmate was going to marry someone else. He told her Dagus had been killed coming back from Elliot's. He had told her that he'd been betrothed, but she died. But he hadn't bothered to tell her they'd both been killed at the same time. Why? Had he loved his fiancée so much? No, it was just a marriage of convenience, a marriage for money. So she goes on a little bit. Justin, in the future, the last thing you said was for me to tell the past you the whole story and to show you something. I was supposed to show you what was in my backpack, but it had things from the century that would have convinced you. Show me the backpack. I can't. It disappeared. Why does it surprise me? The future you seem to think you would be smart enough to believe me, but I'm beginning to realize the future you gave you a whole lot more credit than you deserve. I know you don't believe me, but there is something you must do. Whether you believe me or not, you can't let Degas go to your fiancé yet. Postpone the wedding. I'm not trying to get you to postpone it so you'll marry me. I'm telling you because they're going to die if you don't do something. In my time, you told me that Dragus was killed in a clan battle between the Montgomery and the Campbell when returning from Elliot's. You also told me that you'd been betrothed, but that she died. I think that she must have been killed coming back here with Degas. According to you, he tried to help the Montgomery because they were outnumbered. If he interferes with that battle, they both will die. And you'd believe me then, wouldn't you, if I foretold those deaths? Don't make it cost them much. I saw you grieve. And then, so then he walks out. And, it takes a while, but he eventually does believe her, and we get a little insight into the lady that performs the spell. And a couple days pass, whatever, and then he takes her into the village, and he holds her hand in the village, and he's never taken a girl into the village. He's never held a hand of a girl in the village. So everybody in the village knows that he is in love. Absolute in love. So then, don't let Degas go to Elliot's. It's too late. He rode up this morning shortly after we did. You must go after him. Don't avast yourself, lass. I sent a full complement of guard with him. But what if that's not enough? I don't know how big the battle was. He rides with over 200 of the finest fighters men Albus boasts. No trivial battle between clan will have such numbers. A clan dispute is usually not but a score or two of angry brothers and kinfolk. Are you sure that it might not be a bigger battle? He did know his century. Somehow she'd gotten the idea that medieval battles were all as grand as she'd seen in Braveheart. Probably from watching Braveheart. The Campbell and Montgomery frequently feud, and there they have sent full armies to meet one another. If they did, an extra 200 on Montgomery's side would make them victorious. My men are well trained. Perhaps all she was needed was to keep Degas safe. Already things had changed. Initially, according to what Dustin told him, in her century, Degas had gone with only a dozen guard. I instructed the captain under no circumstances may Degas engage in battle. So he did all that. Yes, ma'am. Did you want to come up here? Did you want to come up here? I'm reading a book. Do you want to read with me? What's going on? Are you coming up? Come here. Come here. Come here. Yes, ma'am. So then we have the lady that enchanted him again. She's telling her son that he's going to die by a lady's hand. And she absolutely believes that it's going to be this Elliot girl, and that's why the Elliot girl has to die. But then when that stuff is dissolved, the new person is Gwen. So then Gwen tells the story again. I'm not going to pick you up again. I'm not going to play that with you right now. She said, she's telling the story again. And then she says, and then you said something to me. Oh, and his father, sorry. His father and Nell. Nell is a woman that his father favors quite a bit. But in the original story, the father just wasted away. In this story, him and Nell are getting a little closer. And then you said something to me there at the end that I'll never forget. You said the sweetest words, and they were kind of shivered through me. You said it in that funny voice you have. What did I say? Oh, what did she? What's this? So she says what you said, and she spoke the words. And when he did, he leaped from his feet. If aught must be lost, 'twill be my honor for yours. If one would be forsaken, 'twill be my soul for yours. Should death come anon, 'twill be my life for yours. I am given, that's what you said. As she finished, Drustan doubled over. A spark of heat and light built inside him and spread, enveloping. He couldn't talk, he could scarce breathe. A wave after wave of emotion crushed over him. Gwen doubled over as a wave of intense motion quested over her. She felt funny, really weird, like she'd just said something irrevocable. And Nell and Sylvan are listening outside the door, and she just said the druid marriage spell. So whether they like it or not, they are now married. And then Gwen, she says some more stuff to him. He asked her what else he had said, and she said, whither thou goest, there goest I. Two flames spark, but from one ember, both forward and backward doth time fly. Without thou art, remember. And with this little incantation, and there's another one in here, he remembers what happened in the future. And panics and goes after his brother. And then he goes after his brother, and she's alone. And because she's alone, the gypsies come get her, and he's supposed to go rescue her. And the whole rescue goes to H in a handbasket. And there's a big, huge climactic scene. Some people die. But when it is all said and done, when the scene is said and done, the gypsy's lady's son does die. However, she has changed history. His brother lived, and he lived. So the two of them are alive. And because he is alive, and because he was never put to sleep as originally planned, the whole thing never happened. And she never. So there's a twist to this, and so she completely fades out of existence from Scotland in the 15, and she reemerges the exact same day in the 21st century. And so there are some little pieces here that you have to say, well, if it never happened, then she has all her memories of it occurring. But and she discovers with time that she is pregnant with twins, because Justin and Dagus are twins, and twins run in the family. So after some time, she decides to go back to Scotland. And I will leave you with that, because there are two final big twists at the end. Major twists. So she's in modern times, and she goes to Scotland. And remember, the first time she went to Scotland, the castle was in ruins, right? She goes back, and she drives over the hill, and there's the castle in all its splendor, even more magnificent than it was when she saw it. Water fountains and all this kind of stuff. And she goes to the door, and the family greets her, and they know who she is. And they have a story to tell her in time. So, find out what the last 2, possibly 3 twists are. You're going to have to read the book, but you didn't see this coming. And I'm telling you that I will forever, this is the biggest twist in the world, and it's fantastic. Whenever you read a time travel book, you wish for this ending. This is the ending you want. And this is one you didn't see coming, because it kind of hurts a little. There's sadness inside when she instantly vanishes from Scotland in the past, because Justin was never drugged or whatever, put to sleep. She never went back in time and all that kind of stuff. So you have to wonder if he remembered her back then, how much his original person remembers her in the past. So to find out what happens when she gets into that house and what the descendants tell her, it's very interesting. And then after all that cliffhanger, there's an additional cliffhanger which sets it up, I'm pretty sure, for the next book. This is for this one, book 5. So this is the next one we're gonna read. We're gonna take a break, do a Catherine Coulter, I think, for tomorrow, or actually, yeah, I think it'll be tomorrow. I have read so many books this week, it's not funny. I think I'm up to 15. But you didn't see it coming. This is so good. This is such a good series. It really is. It's up there. So I can't wait to do my top 10 next month. But this is awesome. But I don't think I'll ever forget this one. This is just, good God. Anyways, have a good day.